Teams, Basketball Manitoba Awards and All-Star Banquet. I'd like to ask Mr. Ross Wedlake to come forward and offer greetings from Basketball Manitoba.
Thank you. On behalf of the entire board of Basketball Manitoba, I would like to welcome you here this afternoon and thank you all for attending. We see today as a real celebration of basketball in this province. Basketball Manitoba is proud to host and sponsor these awards, which recognize and honor those who have excelled this past season. As with most of these kinds of events, there are many people who contribute and need to be recognized. Mainly our staff at Basketball Manitoba and all the volunteer coaches who assisted in the planning of today. Thank you very much for your time and efforts. It is also important that we recognize the contributions of all parents and coaches. The successes we are marking this afternoon would not be possible without your commitment and support. We want this event to keep growing and to be all-inclusive. This year we welcome the new participation of the Winnipeg Minor Basketball Association, the WMBA, and the Manitoba Colleges Athletic Conference, the MCAC. If you know of other groups or leagues which would like to be included in these celebrations, please let us know. We'd like to congratulate all those being recognized here today. And just to put a little plug in, we know the next major event coming up is the tryouts for our provincial teams. There is very little eligibility left in this room, but we would encourage you to encourage your teammates, friends, and other kids you have to be out there on May the 24th and 25th. We know that there are many people in this room who had a great deal of success last summer with our provincial teams and would like to see that continue. So we hope to have a great summer with our provincial teams. We know that the success of basketball in Manitoba will only continue if we all work together. Because as we say at Basketball Manitoba, together we grow basketball. Thank you very much. Enjoy today's celebrations.
Thank you, Mr. Wedlake. All right, so what we'd like to do before we get started with the meal today is we'd like to invite all of the athletes that that have played already and that will play later to come forward to be recognized by the audience here today. So, first we'll start with the A to AAA girls graduating All-Stars. Can you hand me those? My fault, it is on here. We'll start with Team Sawyer and Densmore. Brooke Goodman from Steinbach Christian. Easton Gerba from Grandview. Emma Arnott from U of W Collegiate. And please come forward to the front if you are in attendance. Erica Heppner from WC Miller. Heidi Smith from Verdon. Jade Smith from Verdon, Kristen Williams from Artie Parker, Logan Bickham from Verdon, Natalie Vachon from Verdon, Skylar Hardy from Elm Creek, Sydney Ransom from Boissevain, Tatum O'Meara from Artie Parker, Taylor Lienzio from Sanford, and coaches Carrie Sawyer from Verdon and Steve Densmore from Verdon. Team Penner and Zilke. First, Amy Berrigan from Westgate, Courtney Engel from St. Norbert, Courtney Fines from Elton, Courtney Matienza Nealon, Jamie Shaw Lorette, Jessica Ritchie, Hamiota, Jesse Robbins from Souris, Jordan Hardy from Nealon, Paige Small from Treeherne, Paige Thompson from Nealon, Rashawn Murdoch from Lorette, Sarah Paulson from Souris, and Sheena Matheson from Hamiota. And coaches Trevor Penner from Souris and John Zilke from Hamiota. Obviously, 17 years ago, Paige, Courtney, and Jessica were all very popular. Thank you, girls. You may return to your seats. Now we'll move on to our single A to AAA boys graduating All-Stars. Starting with Team Unruh Hader, Alex Clausen from Boisevane, Ben Miller from Westgate, Blake Wallaker from Hacknott, Grant Hatherley from Hacknott, John Hader from Pinawa, Justin Dick from Westgate, Logan Beasley from Killarney, Raymond Hebert from St. Anne, Roman Daskal from Grey Academy, Sam Creighton from Westgate, Tiu Sosefo from Boisevane, Tyler Flood from Pinawa, Zach Stubel from Linden Christian, and coaches Chris Unruh and Jeff Hader from Pinawa. All right, and our other team composed from Team Metcalf Martin, Andrew McKenzie from HBO Eric, I don't know. Avery Cadogan from St. John's Ravenscourt, Chase McDonald from Gilbert Plains, Christian Whitnick from Glenborough, Curtis Buchan from West Park, Daniel Toison from St. James, Danny Tinker from Toulon, Jeremy Baker from St. John's Ravenscourt, Jordan Murdoch from St. James Collegiate, Nathan Wowchuk from Swan River, Quentin Hunter from Neelan, Tim Dunn from Carmen, and coaches Jackie Metcalf from Carmen, Manitoba, and Jeremy Martin from St. John's Ravenscourt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are your 1A to 3A graduating boys all-star team. Thank you. All right, we'll move forward to our girls graduating all-star teams from the 4A category. I'd again ask them to come forward as they're called up. Starting with Team 10, Emily Smale from Crocus Plains, Larissa Serapio from Daniel Mac, Nicole Bailey from St. Mary's, Nikki Majewski from Westwood, Peyton Gomez from Oak Park, Scotia Stooner from Garden City, Sean Pallister from Oak Park, Susie Namgung from Sisler, Tiara Cruz from Sisler, Tiara Lissy from Sisler, Tristan Ogonoski from Dakota, Zeralyn Panisa from Sisler, and head coach Michael Tan, also from Sisler. And now Team Hawash, Amber Harms, Fort Richmond, Atusa Jaleri from Vincent Massey, Brittany Bobachuk from Linden Christian, Emily Jansen, Miles Mack, Jasmine Ibrahim, Glenlawn, Jodine Kowalchuk, Lord Selkirk, Kendra Click McMahon from Vincent Massey, Montana Kinsey from Linden Christian, Morgan Williams from Vincent Massey, Sarah Ibrahim from Glenlawn, Shannon Boyd from Miles Mack, Tiana Mighty from Miles Mack, and Coach Stacy Hawash from Vincent Massey, Winnipeg. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your 4A girls graduating all-stars. Thank you, ladies. to our 4A boys graduating All-Stars. This group will obviously be far less better looking than the girls that just left. Starting first with Team Wolf, Byron Oduka from Garden City, Clement Saki from Calvin, Denzel Sullivan Sisler, Esteban Gomez Glenlawn, Ivan Pascalin from Calvin, Joseph Medrano from Sisler, Joel Shuffler from Garden City, Liam Haim from Calvin, Matt Johnson from Sturgeon Heights, Mitch Podmorny from Glenlawn, Rowan Cruz from DMCI, Rowan Van Erck from Sturgeon Heights, and Coach John Wolf from Glenlawn Collegiate. Obviously, Clement Saki was trying to prove me wrong with the hat. We now call up Team Goosen, Arshdeed Gill from Kildonan East, Alec Bernier from St. Paul's, Billy Jaworski, St. Paul's, Colson Reimer from Oak Park, Derek McKnight, MBCI, Gurinder Gill, MBCI, Hayden Nellis from Dakota, Josh Sleva from St. Paul's, Marcus Morgan, John Taylor, Matt Dunning, Maples, Matt Dick, MDCI, Michael Sadu from John Taylor, and Coach John Goosen from MBCI. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 4A boys graduating All-Stars. All right, I'd now like to call up Ms. Jen Howe to say grace before lunch.
Let's give a bow for a word of thanks. Creator God, we thank you for each and every day that you bless us with. Today we especially ask your blessings on another basketball season. We ask that you be with all of our graduating players as they move on from high school. Help guide their decisions and the next steps in their lives. We ask too that you guide and bless our coaches and our volunteers who selflessly give their time to these young people and help direct their lives. Bless the parents who support their children in all of their dreams. We ask that you bless the hands that prepare this food and the conversations around the table. Finally, thanks for a spring day and for simply teaching us the patience to appreciate it. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Our first speaker will be the Executive Director of Basketball Manitoba, Mr. Adam Ludwig.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Welcome, everybody. Ross has already passed on our welcome from behalf of Basketball Manitoba, but before we get into the awards piece this afternoon, we just wanted to make a special announcement. Having a large group like this at our disposal here for a couple hours. This last week, we were able to confirm the return of a large summer basketball event that's not been here in Winnipeg or in Manitoba here for the last 5 years. So we're really happy to announce that the Hoop It Up 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which has not been here for over 5 years, is now making a return back to Winnipeg this coming summer on June 28th and 29th at Garden City Shopping Center. So there are some cards on your desk or on your table there, but I just want to draw attention to it so that it's something unique, and mainly because we're the only Canadian city that they're coming to this year. They're going to other cities like DC and Philly, Dallas, and Fort Lauderdale, and Denver, and Phoenix. We're the only Canadian stop they're making here. So we want to really embrace this event as a basketball community and really make this so it doesn't have to be another 5 years for this event to come back. So while you're all here, and the players, chatting and so on. This is a chance to maybe put together some 3-on-3 all-star teams to continue on later this summer to have some fun outside at our city shopping center. Moms and dads, you're more than welcome as well. As you can see at the bottom there, the age range is 8 to 99. Unfortunately, we did have to cap it. Unfortunately, we did have to cap it at 99, so Don Thompson from Neelan, I'm sorry we couldn't reach your age. Our insurance premium couldn't cover that 3 digits, so, but anyways, well, we really wanted to embrace this event and make it an annual event back here in the province that we can be proud of. The exciting thing with 3-on-3 basketball, if you're not aware of some of the changes that are coming perhaps in the coming years, is that 3-on-3 basketball, most likely, at least by the year 2020, if not 2016, will be recognized as a full Olympic sport. And it'll be just seen like beach volleyball is to volleyball or indoor volleyball. 3-on-3 basketball is just on the cusp right now. And an event like this will be a stepping stone for teams to get to that stage. It may take another 5 years for that to happen, but we're really excited. The timing couldn't be better for us to have this opportunity back here in the city. So that's something that may happen in the next Olympics 2016, but it sounded like it's a for sure deal in 2020. But we're hoping that will be part of our transition out of Winnipeg here to get teams to that stage of basketball. With the awards as well this afternoon, just a couple small points. The results that we have, including those that were introduced earlier this afternoon, come from a series of online votes that we put together through February and March. This year was our most turnout we actually had ever with the number of votes we received. These are from active coaches. We have over 100 active coaches in the province that did submit their feedback into who they felt should be honored and recognized at today's event. We are very proud and pleased to have 2 new partners with the awards this afternoon, with the Winnipeg Minor Basketball Association and the MCAC, that's the Manitoba Colleges Athletic Conference, also presenting their Coaches of the Year awards with us this afternoon. All coaches of the year as well will receive a bursary into this fall's Super Coaches Clinic, which is the largest basketball coaches clinic in the country that we're proud to host here every fall in October. So every coach of the year will receive a guest honor into that. And we're also pleased to have additional new support from Coaching Manitoba, Sport Manitoba, and Manitoba Liquors and Lottery to be part of, to enhance this event for us to honor those that should be honored this year. So that's all I had to say. I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff. Thank you very much.
I apologize to Coach Thompson. The joke about 99 was actually supposed to be for Don Lamont. Sorry, Mr. Lamont. We will start today with our junior high female coach of the year. I would like to call up Mr. Dan Becker from Basketball Manitoba to come present the award. You can feel free to clap for Mr. Becker. And this year's junior high female coach of the year goes to Janelle Ableo from Sisler High School.
Look here.
And our junior high male coach of the year goes to Pam Godfredson from Leland North.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
Thank you, Mr. Becker, as well. Our next category is Junior Varsity Female Coach of the Year, and I'd like to call forward the Basketball Manitoba President, Mr. Ross Westlake. Please clap for him. And the junior varsity female coach of the year goes to Chris Isaacs from Glenmont Collegiate.
I'll keep this very short and brief. You put a mic in front of us and you think it's karaoke or something. The only thing we can top that right now is a good nap. Good afternoon, everyone. The only thing that could possibly top having one's team win a provincial is being named Coach of the Year. I thank Basketball Manitoba Selection Committee for choosing me above the other very worthy candidates for this award. I salute my fellow coaches, knowing how many hours each of them has dedicated to helping their young athletes become better players. I'd also like to thank MHSAA for a smooth running provincials. I know sometimes it's a thankless job. Tonight, I'm the one person who gets to take home the prize, but I owe a debt of gratitude to my very able assistant coaches, who were afraid to come up here with me, of course. Aaron DePapp, Alexa Amos, Sarah Oswald, Mitch Katakugan, and Lauren Lambert. They have been a major part of the Glenmont Lions' success story, as their skills and knowledge have complemented and amplified my own. I would also like to thank the coaches who work with these girls in grades 7, 8, and 9, encourage them to play basketball and teaching those very important fundamentals upon which we found time to work with them and to make them better. Special thanks to my mentor, Dale Bradshaw, who found time to come out and work with us, and Coach Brian Kornberger, who knows a thing or two about basketball. I'd also like to thank our parents who are so supportive, encouraging, and respectful. Can't always say that every year. Setting a goal is not the main thing. It is deciding how you will go about achieving it and staying with that plan. Boy, did we ever stay with our plan. That's just a quote from Tom Landry. It is particularly gratifying to win the provincial with a team that truly worked for it. A team in which every player assumed responsibility for our shared success. Being a teacher, I appreciate the group of athletes who recognize that learning, being dedicated, respectful, and practicing, that's what makes it so fun to have to coach these girls. These girls spend hours and hours practicing and playing league games and tournaments to get better individually and collectively. Our record of 27-1 is a tribute to their dedication and hard work. It paid off and will serve you well in your varsity years. Those of you who know me, have seen me in action, know that I'm a very, very demanding coach, and not always tactful or even sometimes polite. I think the girls, I'd like to thank them for putting up with my jokes and my encouragement and my constructive criticism. Things get pretty intense, but we had a million laughs together too. I think my girls, I'd like to think that, and they know that I care and that I'm very proud of them. Who would not be proud of a team that came from behind, playing against an extremely talented team from Garden City, never losing their nerves nor their belief in each other. Coaching has its reward every year. Seeing girls learn a great game, come together as a team, and represent their school with pride never ever gets old. But being singled out for recognition by my coaching peers and Basketball Manitoba has made this year truly exceptional for me. I thank you for this honor.
All right, our next award is the Junior Varsity Male Coach of the Year. Unfortunately, our recipient had to check himself into the hospital this afternoon with an appendicitis attack. So I'll ask one of his former players to come up and accept the award on behalf for John Giesbrecht from John Taylor Collegiate. This is Michael Sadu from John Taylor Collegiate. All right, I'd like to call forward Mr. Adam Wedlake to give out the WMBA Bruce Russell Memorial Coach of the Year Award. I believe
All right, thank you, Jeff. One of the new awards, like I mentioned just earlier ago, is our new partnership in having the Winnipeg Minor Basketball include their award, Coach of the Year award. They've been giving out this award for over 15 years, but now we've got a more formalized arrangement and agreement to get this to a larger stage for the Minor Association. This award was initially, like I said, put together under the name of Bruce Russell, who was a WMBA coach early in the league's early infancy, sadly passing away as a result of cancer in April 2001. The WMBA has been presenting this award ever since, and also on an annual basis. This award recognizes a coach who demonstrates an outstanding commitment to fair play, shows exemplary commitment to the team, and serves as a role model for other coaches to emulate. They also put a large focus into demonstrating concern for their players outside of the game. This year's recipient of the Bruce Russell Award has been coaching at the community club level for over 15 years and is currently with the Winnipeg Community Center. On behalf of the Winnipeg Minor Basketball Association, it's my pleasure to present this year's award at the Bruce Russell Memorial Coach of the Year Award to Peter Robertson Stovall of Riverview Community Center.
All right, our next awards are going to the Manitoba Colleges Athletic Conference. We'll start first with the Male Coach of the Year. I'd like to call forward the MCAC Commissioner, Mr. Bill Wedlake, to come give out the awards. All right, our first award will go to the Male Coach of the Year. And this year's Male Coach of the Year is Sukhbir Singh from Red River College.
So handsome.
He is extremely handsome.
Stay there.
I agree. The Female Coach of the Year goes to Janice Hengelanen from Red River Community College. Please. Thank you, Mr. Wedlake. Next, we'll go to the single A, double A, triple A female All-Manitoba teams. They will be presented this year by Ms. Jen Howe from Westgate Collegiate. We'll start first with our second team. We added a second team to the single A, double A, triple A category for both male and female a few years back just because there are so many to choose from. So this year, the second team award winners, I'll call up all together. If you want to hold your applause till I get to the last name would be great, and they can all come forward and receive their award from Jen. First, Jade Ludochowski from Chulon Collegiate. Jessica Halad from Toulon Collegiate, Logan Bickham from Verdon, Brooke Goodman from Steinbach Christian, and Courtney Fines from Elton Collegiate. Ladies, if you could just remain up here, we'll call the first team up as well. The single A, double A, AAA female All-Manitoba team first team includes Paige Thompson from Neelan High, Rashawn Murdoch from Lorette Collegiate, Sarah Paulson from Surras School, Adriana Proul from Artie Parker Collegiate, and Natalie Bichon from Verdon Collegiate. This is your single A, double A, AAA female All-Manitoba first and second teams. Thanks, ladies. Next, I'd like to, we're going to hand out our Female Player of the Year awards in the, starting with the single A category. I'd like to call out Mr. John Zilke to make a brief speech and present the single A Female Player of the Year.
Good afternoon. It will be brief. It is my pleasure to give this award to Shayna Matheson. Shayna, come on up. I'll talk while you move. Shayna's been a player of mine for 4 years now. She started in her grade 9. In that time, she has won a silver and 3 gold medals, has been the MVP of provincials the past 2 years. Shayna has also been on the provincial team, and next year she'll be heading to Brandon University to play for the Bobcats. Shayna this year scored 25 points a game, 12 rebounds a game. In the provincial final, she basically took it over, scoring 33 points against constant double teams, including 8 points in the last 2 minutes, and we won by 2. She is a great basketball player, but you know what? She's also, and more importantly, a great person. She's a fantastic work ethic. She's a great leader with the young kids, and she will be sorely missed. I would like to thank Basketball Manitoba on Shayna's behalf, and again, congratulate Shayna Matheson on being the A Female Player of the Year.
Thanks, Coach. For the Double A Female Player of the Year, I'd like to call up Jason Duroff from Toulon Collegiate.
Could I get Megan Osbeck to come up here, please? As you can see, Megan is not the tallest player, but what she lacks in height, she makes up for with her speed, her her work ethic, and it also helps that she has a good three-point shot. She was our leading scorer in pretty much every game we played this season, usually scoring between 25 and 30 points a game. She had a season-high 43 in our provincial semifinal. And this is with most teams that we play usually shadow Megan and put someone right on her. She has been given numerous MVPs and game stars over the year for her efforts. She was the MVP of the AA provincials this year. She was the provincial MVP in the last 2 JV provincials that we won. But the one thing that sets Megan apart is that she is never about the individual awards. She's team first, and she is always willing to do whatever I need her to do for the team. For example, if I need her to maybe not score as much and maybe shut down one of the better players on the other team, she loves doing this with her twin sister. Megan always shows up in the big games, whether it's a tournament final or a provincial game. She gives everything she has. She leads by example, and the rest of the team feeds off of the way she plays the game. She works as hard in practice as she does in games. Megan is one of the best players that I've had the pleasure to coach over my years of coaching at Toulon, and I think she's very deserving of this award. So I'm very proud to present Megan with the AA Player of the Year.
Thank you, Jason. Foremost for using your phone instead of killing a tree like I did. The AAA Female Player of the Year, I'd like to call up Carrie Sawyer from Burton Collegiate.
Could I get Heidi Smith up, please? When I was asked 2 years ago to help coach the varsity and JV girls with Steve Dansmore, I jumped at the chance. One of the reasons was the great work ethic our 5 main girls had, and one of them is Heidi Smith. She became our team leader from day one by her hard work ethic, and the whole team adopted it. Heidi and her teammates could always be found in the gym before school started, and they were always the last ones to leave the gym at the end of the day. Heidi practiced the same way she played, which was flat out. She always gives us 110% in games and practices, but was never afraid to challenge the coaches or help out the other players when she saw something wrong. She always strives to get better and never settles for second best. Our team had a goal this year, and it was to win gold at AAA provincials, and anything short of that was a disappointment. They achieved their goal. She never backs away from a challenge, and many times she's asked to defend the other team's top player. Very rarely does she leave the court, and she's logged a pile of minutes over her career. She also led the offense, averaging over 20 points a game through her career. She did receive many All-Star and MVP awards during her career, as well as playing for Team Manitoba. It has been my honor and pleasure to coach Heidi, and I wish you nothing but the best wherever you decide to play. Congrats, Heidi, on being named Female AAA Player of the Year.
Thanks, Coach and Jen. I'd like to call forward once again Mr. Dan Becker from Basketball Manitoba to help out with our single A, AA, AAA male All-Manitoba team. We will start first with our second team, which includes Roman Descal from Gray Academy, Mason Metcalf from Carmen Collegiate, Danielle Toison from St. James Collegiate, Justice Lucas from St. Boniface Diocesan, and Sandeep Brar from St. John's Ravenswood.
Stay there.
Just stay up there, please. We will call up our first team for single A, double A, triple A male. Will include Avery Caduck from St. John's Ravenscourt, Quentin Hunter from Neelan High School, Justin Dick from Westgate Collegiate, Jordan Murdoch from St. James Collegiate, and Tim Dunn from Carmen Collegiate.
All right, guys, spread out for a full group pick.
Move down, move down.
All right, I'd like to call forward for the single A male player of the year, Jeff Hayter from Pinawa Collegiate.
You can come on up. John Aiden. Yeah, my wife, she told me I had to be at this banquet because my son was getting an award, but she failed to inform me that I might have to give a speech, so that was jokes on me a little bit. I guess I'll hear about this later. But yeah, John's been a bit of a mentor at our school for basketball. We live in a small town, Pinawa, and rural basketball for us is just a struggle to put 5 people in court between hockey and basketball. And John's been a real inspiration, really since his JV year when he started playing basketball, for our younger guys looking up and going, hey, if I work hard, I can do that too. And we went to, he's even dragged his dad into it. I think your first JV year, I was asked to coach, not with a lot of basketball background, but just because we needed to have a coach and have a team. And so I've kind of been dragged along the process as we went, and it's been a lot of good times. John, well, we didn't get to win a provincial championship at JV or Varsity. We made it there for John's senior both times. I'm not sure how, but he still managed to pull out an MVP award both times, which I think was a little hard on the other guys that won to see this happen sometimes. But it's a real compliment to John for what he's done, the All-Stars he's won, his attitude, and as a proud dad, it's great. So congratulations.
All right, and to present the AA male player of the year, I'd like to call for Kyle Hebert from St. Anne, Manitoba.
call up Raymond Ebert from St. Anne, please. As you can see, Raymond is a very well-known, very likable young man. It is my honor to be here today to present this award to him. Ray is especially deserving of this award as he was a true leader to his team. He pushed every player to work hard and get better, praised them when they were doing well, and lifted them up when they were struggling. He scored more points this year than anyone can count, but that's not how he measures his success. He takes more pride in his ability to defend and in winning than personal accolades. He spends every lunch hour working on his game, and more impressively, coaching up his less experienced teammates. He makes everyone on the court better when they play alongside him, and his intensity and drive is contagious to whoever he plays with. He is a remarkable young man, and I will miss him both on the court and as a student of our school. His natural ability was evident when he entered grade 9 at St. Anne Collegiate, even though he could barely hit the rim when he shot. However, you only had to tell or show him something once, and he was doing it and doing it well before too long. He was constantly looking at ways to get better, whether it was asking his coaches or YouTubing skill videos. I would like to take the credit for some of his development, but he can do things that I've never seen anyone his age be able to do. He is a dynamic player that can defend the fastest guards or the biggest bigs. He can box out a 6'8" guy, rebound, and then take it the length of the floor for a score or assist. Teams have a hard time stopping him even with double or triple teams. He will be extremely missed at St. Anne, and I am so thankful to have seen him develop as a player and as a young man. Everyone at our school wishes him the best of luck at his next level of basketball and life, wherever that may take him. Without further ado, it's my privilege to present the 2014 AA Male Player of the Year Award to Raymond Ebert.
All right, I'd like to call up for the 3A Male Player of the Year, Mr. Carl Weed from West Collegiate.
What can I tell you about Mr. Ben Miller that you haven't already heard or seen? His talent on the basketball court is recognized across the country, literally. He's had invitations to play basketball at university from Vancouver Island to Nova Scotia. And right here at home, he was voted the #1 basketball player in all of Manitoba by the Winnipeg Suns coaches poll. What you might not know about him is he's also a Mensch. For those not up on their German, that means a person of integrity and honor. It's been a pleasure, Ben, being able to watch you from the front row, and I look forward with eager anticipation to what your basketball future holds. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2014 AAA Player of the Year, Ben Miller.
Thanks, Coach. All right, we'll move on to Coaches of the Year in the different categories. So I'd like to call forward Mr. Dan Becker once again to hand out the award. This year's Single A Female Coach of the Year goes to John Zilke from Meyers Collegiate. Ryan Deal from Glenboro Collegiate. Thank you, Mr. Becker. I'd like to call up Ms. Jen Howe once again to hand out our next couple of awards. Our first one is the AA Female Coach of the Year, which goes to Jason Dura of Toulon Collegiate. All right, our AA Male Coach of the Year goes to Chris Unraw of Boys and Men Collegiate. Chris asked if he could come through the back way here, and I wasn't going to stop him, so. I'd like to call up Mr. Ross Wedlake once again to give out our next couple of awards. Our 3A Female Coach of the Year is Sarah Gillies from Arnie Parker Collegiate. Accepting on her behalf will be Tatum O'Meara of Arnie Parker Collegiate. Our 3A Male Coach of the Year goes to Carl Weeb of Westgate Collegiate.
I'm going to ask someone to come up and join me here for this picture, and that person has been my assistant coach for the last 6 years, and is a big reason why we've had the success we've had as a program, and the reason I'm up here. Don Miller, would you join me, please?
All right, I'd like to call Mr. Adam Wedlake forward for the next award.
And I would like to call forward Dan Becker to help me with this. So, come on, Dan. Welcome door. I'm going to present the next two awards. You know, realize that and knowing why I'm jumping in for Jeff here. It's my honor and privilege to announce the 4A Female Basketball Coach of the Year this year to Michael Tan. In the 4A Boys Male category for the Coach of the Year for the 2013-14 season, hence why I'm up here to present this. It's my privilege and honor to present this to Jeff LePain here. And last in this run here, a coach of the years for the current season. We have an open category, which we sort of leave as an open option for us to look at. This could include college, university, provincial team, things that aren't already been addressed at the high school level or below. It's again our privilege to present this year's open category Coach of the Year to Don Thompson from Neelan High School. But in fact, he's getting the award this afternoon as last summer's 17U female provincial team coach, who were bronze medalists at the Canada Games in Sherbrooke. So thank you.
Adam doesn't know how to turn the page, obviously. All right, the Basketball Manitoba Bursary Award. Adam Winlake will stay up. So this is an award for $250. It's presented annually by Basketball Manitoba to a graduating athlete who exemplifies outstanding leadership and on and off the court, and commitment to their school and team. This award is to be used as a financial assistance towards a post-secondary education for the upcoming school year. This year's Basketball Manitoba Bursary Award male recipient is Marcus Morgan from John Taylor Collegiate. Our female winner is Logan Bickham from Verdon Collegiate. Thank you. I'd like to call up Ross Whitelake again to give out our Jim Bulloch Coaching Award. This coaching award scholarship was created in honor of the life of the late Jim Bulloch Sr., who was a major component and contributor to the basketball community. These awards are presented annually to allow Manitoba basketball coaches to upgrade their knowledge and expertise in basketball, which will directly impact player and program development. This year's award winner again is in the hospital right now with a appendix attack. So we will ask one of his former players, Marcus Morgan, to accept the award for John Giesbrecht from John Taylor. All right, our next award is the Ron Meyers Leadership Award presented by the MSSA. I would like to call forward Mr. Bob Pickin from the Manitoba Sports Writers and Sportscasters Association. This award is a $500 award and is presented annually by the Manitoba Sports Writers and Sportscasters Association to a graduating athlete who exemplifies outstanding leadership on and off the court and outstanding commitment to their school and team. This award is to be used as financial assistance towards a post-secondary education for the upcoming school year.
Mr. Chairman, honored athletes, officials, this room reeks of one special word this afternoon. It's pretty obvious. That word is talent. It's here in abundance. All the athletes that we have, the coaches, the officials. It makes me feel somewhat humble because my own basketball exploits were restricted to riding the bench at St. John's Tech with one of the junior inter-high teams many, many years ago. But I was reminded at our table that I did have a daughter who had some definite success when she was playing high school and university ball. She won the Carl Ridd Award. She played at the same time as the wife of a man in our audience today who would like to be our next premier. Good luck, Brian Pallister, when that comes around. But Kelly still has great memories of her days on the basketball courts at the high school level and certainly at the university level. And I know my own personal pride I felt one night when she scored 35 points for the Bisons in a Western Canada game. For all of you who move on from here, look back on your high school memories with a great deal of pride. You've achieved things, and you have certainly enjoyed your years at the high school level. Whatever is in store for you, remember the success that you had here, remember the good times and the fellowship, and may I wish you all the best of good luck. Who is Ron Meyers? Well, Ron Meyers was an individual that was the epitome of leadership in so many ways in our community, and in particular his association with my association, the Manitoba Sports Writers and Sportscasters Association, was indelible. Ron kept us afloat in many, many ways, but as I said, he was a very strong leader in so many ways in our community. And he was taken untimely a couple of years ago. And so to perpetuate his memory, we have the Leadership Awards that I now will present this afternoon. So it is my pleasure to call forward the two winners, the male and the female. The ladies first, Taylor Leonzio, and the male, Cole Friesen. Will they come forward?
Get a picture together.
I think the best he wants is good luck.
Our next award is the Carl Ridd Award. It's a $500 scholarship awarded every year by the Basketball Manitoba to a graduating athlete who exemplifies outstanding leadership on and off the court and commitment to their school and team. This will also be used as financial assistance towards post-secondary education for your upcoming school year. I would like to call forward members of the Ridd family, Ms. Bev Ridd and her son Brian, I believe, to come forward to give out the award.
It's always a pleasure to be able to attend these gatherings and to present the Carl Ridd Award. Carl Ridd was an outstanding basketball player in Manitoba. He was a member of the 1952 Olympic team. He was a member of the Canadian team that went to the World Championships in Rio de Janeiro, and he was named a second team All-Star, the first time a Canadian had been awarded an All-Star at a World Tournament. He grew up playing basketball, loving basketball, led his high school, Gordon Bell, to provincial championships. He played for the Bisons and had great success there. One year he was the 4th highest scorer in all of North America. He has won many awards, and he loved the game and worked very hard at it. He wasn't the most natural athlete, but he worked harder than anybody else. And he loved the game. He was also a fine student and ending up with getting his PhD in religion and literature and teaching at the University of Winnipeg for many years. And finally, he was really very much a person who cared for the city, cared for our world. He worked very hard for peace and justice in many fields, He was there for anybody who needed help. He worked on many campaigns to better our city and better our world. So this is a very special award, and I know there are two very special people to receive it today. So I'll ask Brian to introduce them.
No. What's the point of winning an award if you don't get to stand up front and be embarrassed while good things are said about you? So could we please have Julia Schroeder and Ben Miller come to the stage? Just a couple of highlights. Ben was both a volleyball, that's the other sport for those of you who are not familiar, and basketball star. He was a member of the gold medal winning AAA basketball team. He was the MVP of the AAA championship and was named #1 in the Winnipeg Suns coaches poll. One of the things that his coach said about him in the application for this award was that while he was an outstanding athlete and player on his own right, he was also really dedicated to making those around him better. As my mom pointed out, this award is more than just a basketball award. It's for a person who's well-rounded. And Ben's commitment to family and community extended to the community of his school, because he could have chosen to transfer to another school, a different sort of program, but he stayed at Westgate and he played his years there. He was the starting point guard for the 2013 Canada Summer Games basketball team, and he was an integral part of that team capturing the silver medal. So Ben, by the way, is going to Acadia University next year. Congratulations on winning the male Carl Ridd Award. On the female side, Julia Schroeder has played for 8 years, all as a point guard, and as every point guard in the audience will tell you, that's the most important position on a basketball team. She was starting point guard for the junior varsity girls for Miles Mack, but also for the varsity girls for her last 2 years. She was selected to play with the under-16 provincial girls basketball team and went to the Western Canadian Basketball Championships. In addition to her prowess as a basketball player, and I should mention both of these athletes were outstanding students, but she was also a really important person in her school. She's got, on the volunteering, she's got Miles Mack this, Miles Mack that, Miles Mack this, Miles Mack that. She's all over the place, and I know that school will really miss her next year. In addition to which, she was a member of the Winnipeg Public Library Youth Advisory Council and part of the Good Neighbors Active Living Center Fall Fashion Show Head Committee. So this is another well-rounded athlete, academic, and community member. Julia Schroeder. Winner is
Ben, let's get one of all four of you.
All right, I'd like to call up Mrs. Sarah Lundgren to help out with the 4A All-Manitoba team for girls. The 4A female All-Manitoba team includes Jordan Tully, Oak Park High School, Montana Kinzel from Linden Christian, Atuza Jaleri from Vincent Massey, Tiara Lisi from Sisler, and Nikki Majewski from Westwood Collegiate.
move down.
Thank you. Your 4A female all-Manitoba. I'd like to call forward Mr. Michael Tan from Sisler High School to give out our 4A Female Player of the Year.
This year's 4A Female Player of the Year is Kiana Giles, and I'd like to call her up. As Kiana makes her way up here, like everyone else, she is a whopping 5'7", and at Sisler, she's pretty much the third tallest player on our team. So you can imagine what difficulty we had playing against players from Vincent Massey and Oak Park that generally pump out about 6'2", 6'3" players and rotate that continuously off the bench. This year, Kiana had an outstanding season in her first season at the varsity level. And for myself, it's been a great honor because I've actually had the pleasure of coaching Kiana since she's been in grade 6, whether it be on provincial teams or various club teams. And over the years, the type of person she's developed into and become not only has pretty much amazed me, she's pretty much grown up in front of my eyes. And that's something that I take, that I've cherished over the last few years. This season alone, she was the MVP at 4 out of the 5 tournaments that we had entered into. She was ranked the number one ranked player in the Winnipeg Sun Coaches Top 10 poll, and she's the first grade 10 player to actually ever do that. Statistic-wise, she was pretty much she led in every single category on our team. She scored 18.7 points per game, grabbed 6.7 rebounds, 4.2 steals, and handed out 5.8 assists in 32 games played this season. And the one key stat for her that she always talked about to me was how can she make the people around her better and how can she distribute the ball better to get her teammates more involved, because she knew at the end of it she was going to need the support of her teammates. And those stats are definitely missed a few weeks ago because she was given the privilege to go to the Team Canada Cadet National Team tryouts in mid-March, and I can only hope for the best with the outcome of that. And again, there's only so much more I can say about Kiana, but I look forward to watching her grow as a player. I look forward to seeing what she does this summer, and I look forward to the next 2 years that I get the opportunity to coach her again. So again, your 4A Female Player of the Year is Kiana Giles.
Okay, I'd like to once again call Mr. Dan Becker forward to help us out with the 4A Male All-Manitoba Team. This year's team includes Denzel Sullivan from Sisler High School, Byron Oduka from Garden City, Billy Warsky from St. Paul's, Derek McKnight from MBCI, and Clement Saki from Calvin High School.
All move down.
One picture, yeah, one picture with all.
Move down.
Thank you. Your 4A boys.
I would like to call Mr. Scott Martin from Sisler High School to hand out our 4A Male Player of the Year.
Okay, it's my honor to present the 4A Male Player of the Year. I've had the privilege of coaching this young gentleman the past 2 years. As most coaches know, it's not the coach that makes the players, it's the player that makes the coach look good. And I'll give you an example. I draw up a play, and this guy would hit some fall away 3-pointer with two hands in his face, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a pretty good play I drew up there. And then I'd draw up another play, and he'd drill by 3 guys, do a spinning layup in the key over 6'7". I'm thinking, man, do I drop good plays. So he's made me look pretty good, made me look like I actually know something over the last couple of years. He has a strong work ethic. People that get to this level, players that get to this level, you have to have natural talent, but you also have the work ethic that goes with it. And I think of, he's always working on his fitness. I think how many times he's in the gym doing that jab move, thousands of times, jab, thousands of jump shots. Gym's open in the mornings. He always comes out in the morning, so he's got the work ethic to combine with the talent. He's a gentleman. He's polite, respectful. His parents should be proud of him. They've raised him well. I didn't say he was a perfect gentleman, though. I know in the heat of the battle, the odd gosh darn slips out every once in a while. Usually when the St. Paul's defender is tugging on his jersey. He started at Sisler in grade 9, and he's had a successful career there. He's started in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, grade 9. His team was provincial champions. Grade 10, I think they had the flu during the provincials because they didn't win anything that year. And then grade 11, they're provincial finalists, and grade 12, provincial final four. So very successful. He's played on the provincial teams, won a couple silver medals for the Canada, or for Team Manitoba at the national championship. So that's pretty high level stuff. I think the best is yet to come. I don't think he's done his playing career. I'm going to call Joseph Medrano up here. Before he gets all the way up here, I do have a story to tell about him. Joseph's one of those guys that everybody seems to know who he is. And I remember the first time I seen him in grade 9 at Sisler High School. He's walking down the halls, and it's Joseph. Hey, Joseph, how you doing, Joseph? And everyone's. So I said to him, Joseph, you seem to know a lot of people. And he said, yeah. He says, I even know Adam Wedlick. I said, you know Adam Wedlick, executive director of Basketball Manitoba? He said, yeah, I know him. So he takes me down to his office, and we have lunch with Adam Wedlick. So I said, oh, I'm impressed. Joseph says, well, I know Mike Krzyzewski. I said, you know Mike Krzyzewski, the coach of Duke? And he says, yeah, I know him. Well, once you know it, Mike Krzyzewski flies us down there, and we have lunch with him. And he's talking to us about this new kid, Jabari Parker. He's planning on recruiting, and so we give him our feedback, and we think it would be a good choice for him to try and go after this kid. And I says, Joseph, I'm really impressed. He says, I even know LeBron James. I said, Joseph, you might know Adam Wedlick, you might know Mike Krzyzewski, but you don't know LeBron James. Well, lo and behold, we're on a charter flight out to Miami. Now this was just after Miami won the championship last year, so there's a big parade and there's a pep rally at the I don't know what you call it there, with the mayor's office or whatever they call that, City Hall. So, all these people, and we're walking up, and as we're walking, people are like, Joseph, how you doing? Oh, wait a minute. So we get to the front there, and there's like these big security guards, and they stop. Oh, stop there, you can't go any further. Of course, one of the security guards recognized Joseph. Joseph, come on up here. So I'm looking at it, of course I'm down there, and up on the stage, there's LeBron James talking on the mic, and there's Joseph standing beside him. And this little kid walks up and he's got Miami Heat t-shirt on, he's got a basketball in his hand, he kind of looks and he goes, "Hey, who's that up there with Joseph?" Anyways, the 4A provincial player of the year, Joseph and John.
Behind you.
And our 2015 MC of this, Mr. Scott Martin. All right, we give out often special recognition awards and tributes, so I'd like to call forward Mr. Kerry Lasoup for this year's presentation.
First of all, thank you to Coach Stacey Howish of Vince Massey Trojans for suggesting to Basketball Manitoba to do this. This is for, I think, a tremendous man, and I'm very honored, very honored to have been asked to come up here and talk about this gentleman. This year's special recognition tribute is presented to a longtime basketball coach in this province from Danny McIntyre, who coached also the University of Manitoba and a number of other things which I'll talk about in a second. His name is Laurie May. Let me start off too by saying if Laurie was here today, and if he would have come up to you and talked with you, even though you wouldn't have never met him before, he would have found a way to connect with you, and you would not want to stop talking with him. The majority of people in this room have no idea who Laurie May is. Therefore, please allow me the courtesy to speak about him. And I ask that you please have the courtesy to listen about him. And if you listen with respect, I think that you'll learn something very valuable about him that you can use yourself. Laurie May's life and contributions are far too vast and too meaningful for any one person to sum up in an event such as this. Like those of you that knew him, I was very touched by Laurie May, as I'm sure you were. Therefore, I hope I can give him the honor and dignity he deserves. But before I do that, I have to say something that unfortunately is probably only about 5 or 6 people in this room that will understand this. But I know that Laurie May is looking down on me right now, and if he could say anything here, it would be this. Slime ball? I don't want no stinking service or I'd rather go home and play with my dogs. Now I think there's some people here that would understand that's Laurie. Laurie May was born in 1951 and unfortunately passed away on November 23rd, 2013. He was surrounded by his beloved wife, Debbie, family and friends. Laurie at 62 years of age lost his battle with multiple systems atrophy. Laurie adores his wife, is very proud of his daughters, and to know him, you also have to appreciate how much he loves his yard, his dogs, and any other animal that happened to come and live with him. He taught for more than 30 years, initially at Tech Vaughan, but for most of his career, he taught English at Danny McIntyre Collegiate. Laurie was a creative, witty master educator who had the innate ability to make even the boring topics excite his classes. It was at Danny McIntyre that Laurie made his mark as an educator and a basketball coach. For Laurie, academics were essential, but the other half of education was found on the basketball court. He believed that basketball was a metaphor for life. If you could excel on the basketball court, you could excel in life. As the coach of the Danny McIntyre Maroons, Laurie coached many successful teams, advancing many Final Fours, winning a few provincial titles, and also helped his wonderful wife with the St. Mary's program. And I still remember vividly watching the husband-wife duo in an exciting championship final and championship 4A championship game. Laurie also did some coaching with Basketball Manitoba provincial teams. And in the mid-1980s, Laurie helped coach Rick Suffield at the University of Manitoba rebuild their men's basketball program. Later on, he moved on over to the women's program and helped coach Colleen Frey, where he was part of three national championship appearances, winning 2 bronze medals. However, for Laurie, the biggest thrill came from watching the students he coached grow up and become successful people off the basketball court. He was so proud to witness his athletes grow up and become successful people. Before I go any further, let me tell you the first time I ever seen Laurie. I'm glad they have that picture of him because I still think he still looks like this. I was in university and I used to go to a lot of the Bison games at the University of Manitoba in the 1980s. The first time I noticed Coach May was on the Meyers men's sideline where he was an assistant coach. I didn't know him at all. And I thought this coach, with this intense demeanor and mustache, must be a police officer. I remember him march up and down the sidelines with intensity, getting in players' faces with his clipboard under his arm. And that's the first time I've ever seen him. In 1990, I had the opportunity of pursuing a career at the Manitoba High Schools Athletic Association. And for the next 20 years at the MHS-AA, this gentleman who was a Danny McIntyre, who I thought was a police officer, became one of my closest friends. While I was at the MHS-AA, Laurie was a dedicated volunteer, earning a prestigious MHS-AA Certificate of Recognition Award. He contributed to the MHS-AA as a 4A seating committee member, assisted with all-star committees, convening championships, was a marshal at the provincial high school track and field championships for about 25 years. And for many people, he was the voice at the provincial basketball championships on Shaw Television as the color commentator. He and Debbie, also a number of years ago, led Basketball Manitoba in reinventing the Manitoba Basketball Coaches Association. This is just a brief summary of what Laurie May accomplished. More importantly, let me attempt to tell you about who Laurie May was, a unique and very, very special person. For many eras, Danny McIntyre has had a deep and wonderful tradition with basketball, not only in the inner city, but throughout Manitoba and further, which Laurie was a big part of. In 1993, Laurie May called me from Danny McIntyre and asked me if I would like to coach the JV boys team. I answered something like this: "Can I have some time to think about it?" "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be very honored to do it." His next comment was, and if you know Laurie, this is the way he would do it. He says, "Yeah, well, you know it's in the inner city." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you still have that nice sports car?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you get a clunker you might want to bring to practices, or at least bring an extra set of spare tires?" That's how Laurie could never have probably more than 2 cents in a row without having to have something thrown in there sarcastically. I spent the next 18 years coaching there until I moved to Brandon, where I became a Newland Spartan. There are a lot of people that knew Laurie longer, probably just as well or better than I did, and very close to him. I'd like to share some of the information that they shared with me about Laurie. The first quote is from Coach Rick Suffield, who became the University of Manitoba men's coach in the early 1980s. Coach Suffield had coached at Gordon Bell and went head-to-head a number of times against Coach May when Laurie was at Danny McIntyre. Coach Suffield has this to share about Laurie. After having coached against Laurie May as a high school coach in the inner city and getting the head coaching job at the University of Manitoba, he was my first call. I asked him if he would like to be my assistant coach in a rebuilding program. He said yes, and we went on to make CIAU history at the time, going from a record of 3-27, which they inherited, to a 27-5 GPAC champions, regional national winners, and bronze medal winners at the national championships, all in their first year. Laurie was instrumental in that achievement because of his competitiveness, attention to detail, drive, and a true caring for the individual athletes they were trying to develop. As Coach Suffield says, from my perspective, he in the eyes of others always seemed to be the tough guy, demanding perfection, but deep down inside, as Debbie knows, he was a caring and supportive person that only wanted the best for his students and athletes. True story, Coach Suffield says. His first year, they could not get into the Westman Classic, so they got invited to a 14 tournament out in Brandon, where Brandon was in the top 5 in the country that year, and they beat Brandon in the finals by 12 points. Laurie's comment after the game was, "We got to push these guys harder. We should win by 25. Coach Colleen DeFrey, who is now the athletic director at the University of Manitoba, had Laurie coach with her for a number of years. This is what she shared with me. "When I think of Laurie, now he has the same effect on me as he did when we coached together. A smile comes to my face, and I remember the laughter that was always a part of the wonderful memories he created for us over the years. We, coaches and players alike, we're fortunate to have had Laurie in our lives." Some other words I'd like to share come from a gentleman named George Kaniski. George taught at Danny McIntyre with Laurie for longer than any of you have been alive. They were long times friends, and if George was here right now, I'd love to hear what he would have to share with Laurie, but George is in Florida. But George also helped Laurie coach the Danny McIntyre JV boys team to a provincial title in 2002. And when he coached that team in 2002, I was the Varsity boys coach at the time, and we couldn't find a JV coach that year, so we said, "Laurie, can you come out of retirement and help us this 1 year with this team?" And he said, "Sure," as he always did. The team he came out to was a pretty good group of boys, nothing special, nothing great. They started the year off as just an average team, pretty good team. under Laurie's supervising guidance and his plan for everything that he always does, they went on to become a very, very good team, winning the provincial championships very easily. And they did it all with defense and hard work. And I'll never forget going up to Laurie after they win the provincial title against his gold medal. And I said, congratulations, you did a great job with those boys. And he simply said, the boys played well, and moved on. That's just the way Laurie was. This is what George shares about Laurie. As a coach, Laurie was always an educator who made his players strive for excellence at all times. He set the bar high and made them realize that to reach their goals, they had to work hard, always. They realized early there was no room for taking time off, whether it was during a game or a practice. When any of the boys thought it was time to go into cruise mode, the wrath of Coach May was not a pretty sight. Trust me, it only happened ever once. The end result was always the same. The teams he coached always achieved way more success than they were supposed to. Even though he was a coaching tyrant, every one of his players was willing to battle hard for him, and they all genuinely cared for him. The respect and admiration went far beyond the basketball court, and these young men and young ladies who were his players often became lifelong friends who stayed in touch many years after their high school playing days. They realized how lucky they were to have had Coach May as their mentor during these formative years. Those of us who worked with him and the students who played for him are better people for having experienced Coach Laurie May. The other day I phoned probably one of them, his players that he had the most influence on, and that I'm aware of anyways, a gentleman named Joe Uggles, which I know there's some people in here that know Joe quite well. Joe played basketball for Laurie May at Danny McIntyre for 4 years in the 1980s. Then Joe went on to play for Coach May and Coach Suffield at the University of Manitoba for a number of years. And Joe and Coach Bill Wedlake would know him very well. He might have been one of the best CIS basketball players I've ever seen anyways. But Joe dedicates a lot of who he is today to the influences that Laurie May had on him. And when I was talking with Joe the other day, he said this to me, and I tried to write it down as fast as I could as he was speaking. He told me about how Laurie was like a dad. He really cared about his athletes as students first. He was always honest. He was always there for us on and off the court. Practices were always fun and challenging. Basketball was simply an avenue to become a better person. Joe says that Laurie always seen what was ahead of a person before they could see it themselves. Laurie always had a sense of humor, but had a message behind his sense of humor. Joe says integrity and educational values were always above winning. In Joe's grade 11 year, him and another one of the starters who was also in grade 11 had a little riff with some of the grade 12s, and Laurie decided that he'll put an end to this really quickly and started running him. They ran him and ran him and ran him. And Joe and the other grade 11 thought, I don't want to run this hard. We've got a big tournament this weekend. What is he going to do? Well, Laurie never said anything, but the tournament came, and Joe and this other grade 11 kid, who were two starters, two of the best, probably I think better players on the team, didn't play the first quarter, the second quarter, the second half of that first game. They lost by 6 points to the team that won the whole tournament. The next game came, Joe and his partner did not play in that game. The last game of the tournament, Joe and his friend did not play in that game either. For Laurie, it was always the educational values that far outweighed the wins or the losses. He had an educational message to be sent, and he sent the message first, even if it meant losing basketball games. Joe said that Laurie would always start and end every conversation with, Joe, are you doing the right thing? As for me, when I first started at the MHS AA, he was a tremendous mentor, supporter, and friend. When I started the MHS AA, one of the hardest things to do was to do the rankings for any kind of provincial championship. And when I did the first rankings for the 4A basketball championships, it was done by committee, which still is. Laurie was a part of that committee that I kind of joined into as the assistant executive director. I can remember that year was a very, very difficult seating. And there's some people here that I'm looking at, they understand exactly what I'm talking about. It was a very tough seating to do. And it went public on Monday morning, and all I remember after that, I was very nervous because I was getting phone calls about some people weren't happy and things like that. One of the phone calls was, I get the phone, I pick it up and go, Kerry LeSue, assistant executive director at MHSA. This person just starts laughing hysterically and hangs up on me. Well, 3 minutes later, the phone rings again, and it was Laurie. And I realized it was Laurie that laughed and hung up on me. And that was his way of trying to put something into perspective, which he was always so good at doing. He basically said to me, you did the best you could with the collaboration of the committee and took into consideration the integrity of the draw. There's nothing more you can do, smile, and be proud of the work that you do. I learned that Laurie would always speak to people about the draw afterwards and say to them, you need to worry less about the draw and worry more about preparing your team. If you're as good as you say you are, you will win all of your games, so the draw isn't that important. He always had a way of bringing things to perspective and helping me out as far as what I was trying to do, make me feel good about what I did. He also had a way of telling other people, this is how it is, listen, and you'll be better off for it. And he was just absolutely incredible at doing that. Every time I needed advice from Coach May, my friend Laurie, he was decisive, accurate, and always right. Whenever I asked Laurie to help out with anything, simple or difficult, his answer was always, sure, I can do that. He always fulfilled every request with humor, integrity, perfection, including the honor of accepting the request to MC my wedding. During my time as a coach at Danny McIntyre, which is probably the most formative that I had with Laurie, I had two influential people help me at Danny McIntyre as far as mentors, and that was Brad Perper and Laurie May. With Laurie, as Debbie can attest to, I constantly relied on him for advice. He helped me with offenses, defenses, the run and jump defense that we ran at Danny Mac for years, which I think was a pretty good trademark of ours, I got from him. He was there to congratulate me when we did well, and more importantly, he was there to pick me up off the ground when things weren't going so well. I talked to him daily during the basketball season and cherished every word of advice he ever provided. I can never ever thank him and Debbie enough for their support at the MHS A-AAA and as a coach with the Danny McIntyre Maroons. Laurie, I miss our conversations. My last quote is from Randy Cassano. Randy Cassano, I believe, is a living legend in the basketball community, and I would dare say the most respected coach that you will ever meet. The reason that he's so well respected is because he epitomizes the word quality as a coach and a person. Randy and Laurie coached together at the University of Manitoba with Coach Suffield in the 1980s, and Randy shares with me the reason I said it for last was I think Randy summed them up better than anybody could. I first met Laurie back, this is from Randy, I first met Laurie back in 1975 in the Faculty of Education. We were trying to find a way to skip out of an outdoor field trip at Varsity Park. We hit it off immediately and thus began the friendship that would last over 40 years. We began our teaching careers in 1976, Laurie at Tickbach and myself at Oak Park. Once we began teaching, we found that we shared a common passion that was teaching and coaching basketball. This friendship and rivalry continued as he moved on to Danny McIntyre, where he established himself as one of the finest coaches in the province. His players adored him for his humor and wisdom. Laurie was also the not-so-silent partner behind his wife Debbie's outstanding St. Mary's Academy teams that produced so many great players. For me, and again this is from Coach Cassano, for me personally, Laurie was always one of those go-to guys. And by that I mean he was one of the people that I went to for advice, whether it's for basketball or personal. He never let me down. The best thing about Laurie was that he was there to share in the good times, but more importantly, he was there to share and support in the not-so-good times. He always had a way of making you feel special, and I've tried to copy that trait. I miss his incredible wit and humor, and above all, his friendship. Basketball has lost one of the great ones. Randy, you are absolutely correct. Basketball has lost one of the great ones. Anyone that had a wonderful opportunity of getting to know Laurie May has lost a tremendous friend. His humor, his wit, his integrity, his work ethic, his precise way of putting all situations into perspective will be missed. As much as we will miss this special man, his passion and his remarkable ability to influence the lives of those around him is his greatest legacy. If I can leave any kind of message for those of you in this room from him, it's this. As coaches, we all work very, very hard to have a positive influence on our athletes. I hope that all the coaches in this room use basketball and sport as an avenue to teach life lessons to our young, influential athletes. I hope we can use some of these things about Laurie May emphasizing his values, that will always be maintained. I believe we all have the ability to choose our own destiny. I hope that in my life that I have taken the positive qualities of people around me, like my friend Laurie May, and integrated them into my destiny. I encourage the young athletes in this room to take some of the qualities of Laurie May that I have attempted to describe and incorporate them into your destiny. To me, that is the best way to honor this incredible person, our friend, Laurie May. For Laurie, the lifelong lessons of the journey were always far more important than the destination. And now, unfortunately, Laurie's destination is complete, but his journey remains within our hearts. I'd like to call Debbie up to receive this special recognition award for her husband.
right, I'd like to call up Mr. Ross Wedlake once again to help us out with the Special Recognition Coaching Awards for service. This is basically recognizing coaches who have sustained a long-time commitment to basketball in the province. This year, for the 15 years award will be Trish Halson. You can clap. For 20 years, Stephen Densmore. And for 25 years, Terry Beasley and Carrie Lassu.
Move down a bit and get a picture of all four of it.
Thank you. Thank you for our service. Our last award is the Mike Spack Award. And the Mike Spack Award is given out mostly annually, some years not, but it is given out to an individual who has made significant contribution to the growth and development of basketball in Manitoba over a sustained period of time. As Adam has up here, a Lifetime Achievement Award. So I'd like to call up Mr. Don Lamont to make a presentation to our Mike Spack winner.
I'll make this relatively short and sweet, though this individual has a resume about this long. The only reason that I got invited to present this award is probably because I'm older than he is. But I first met, and this is a special award, like this is a Lifetime Recognition Award. And this individual certainly deserves it. I first met him in 1977. I just graduated from the University of Winnipeg, and I had my first coaching job as the college coach at the UW. At that time, we had a 21 and under championship, which we wish we still did. But this individual was coaching Red River Community College, and he was a firecracker as a player. He played 4 years for Red River, and then he went on and graduated from the University of Manitoba in education in 1979. And I don't know if it was his first coaching job, but certainly he was passionate about his job, so you got these two young guys going head to head. And while I was limited to 21 and under, Red River College didn't have that stipulation. And I remember a couple of the guys were, I'm not sure where this individual recruited them from, but I knew one was a bouncer at a downtown hotel. So, and trust me, these guys played for this individual very hard, and there was take no prisoners. Now don't forget, most of these kids that I'm coaching now are 19, 20 at the oldest, and all of a sudden they got a 30-year-old guy that's in their grill, okay? And he's not taking any prisoners, and they're looking at me. What do we do now, coach? Suck it up, big guy. Anyway, that was my first introduction to this individual, and he went on to become a very, very successful coach. Upon his graduation, he moved over to Tech Fog High School as a teacher. I don't know how he got this successful, but he started coaching the JV team. Well, they won in 74 and 75. Oh, well, that's easy. So he takes over the varsity team, and they won 76, 77, or whatever it was. So he had a stretch where he won 2 JV provincials, then he won 2 provincial boys titles. So that's not a bad start to your high school career, I would think. So we knew that this individual was a pretty special coach.
And then, at the time, I think one of the individuals, I think Bill Woodlake, he happened to be one of your assistant coaches at the UW. Yeah, that's right. And a very successful program at the UW at that time. They went to Joel, I'll give that away, coached for 7 years at the UW as an assistant. And at that time, the UW went to 2 national semifinal championships, so they had a great season. So Joe, as a parent, him and his wife Barb, who are here tonight, had 2 little girls. And his 2 little girls decided that they were interested in playing some basketball. So what's Joe going to do? Well, of course he's going to coach, right? He's got to coach his daughters. So of course he coaches, as I did, at the community club level, because I got to coach, I got to coach my kid. Because, we're basketball people and, you got to make sure it's done right. Anyway, Joe transferred that passion and decided that in 2004 that he was going to form the Winnipeg Internationals Basketball Club. And for 7 years, they traveled the globe and won many championships, went across North America, and in that time, 8 of his players went on to play university basketball. Just a tribute to the quality of coaching that Joe has provided over the years. Well, he wasn't done there. He decided that, what's my next challenge going to be? Well, he says, I'm not spending enough time coaching. Let's volunteer for Basketball Manitoba. So in 2000, Joe became the president of Basketball Manitoba. And I think he has been one of the longest serving presidents ever in the history of volunteer sports in Manitoba. They finally kicked him out last year after 13 years. And from that time, as this room is evidence, we're in the golden age of basketball in Manitoba, because he took Basketball Manitoba and he made it an entity, and one of the smartest things he ever did was hire Adam Wedlick as the executive director, and we're still reaping the rewards of that. Now, Joe has moved on, and the reason he decided that maybe it was time to move on was now he's on the board of Basketball Canada, so he's making larger decisions, and hopefully for the good. So I know he's down there almost every second month, and he's got a lot of the Toronto Raptors brass helping out. Steve Nash is now the general manager of the men's program. Canada basketball has never been healthier. And I think we've got some girls here that I know in Manitoba, Emily Potter, and that young lady, Kiana, who's going to probably one day play for the national team. I know we've got a lot of talent in this room, and basketball is better for it because of Joe DiCurzio. I just have one more thing to mention. Joe is still coaching. How do you do that, Joe? He's coaching the Canadian Mennonite University women's team. I understand from talking to him, he's done a heck of a job recruiting. Joe is, and we've become very good friends over the years, and all those things that Kari was talking about to Lori May and all the other individual recognition awards for coaches. And you young people, you should be aware of this. What do you do after you finish your high school career? It's not everybody that can become a CIS player. Can you make a difference in your community? Can you become a basketball referee? Can you help out coaching? How do you continue to be involved in the basketball community? And it really is a special thing. I've been involved ever since I finished playing university basketball. I've been involved at one level or another. And it's a hugely rewarding experience. And when I get to meet a person like Joe DiCurzio, it makes it all that much better. This year's Mike Spack Award winner, Joe DiCurzio.
That's at the end of their ends.
I knew that wasn't your name, Joe. No. Does he get money?
No. He's got enough.
One thing I forgot to mention, and this is the final thing, Joe is still involved with the Winnipeg Invitational Tournament as the chairman. And I just have to say, it's one of the best tournaments I've ever been to across Canada, and a lot of that has to do with Joe.
Well, where did we start? I had a couple of ideas. I thought I'd ask my wonderful wife and my 2 daughters about what should I be saying? And the thing was in common was, keep it short, keep it short, keep it short. So I tried my best to do that. Basketball was a very big part of my life. This might be a little tough for me, but I came here with 12 years old, and we didn't have much, and basketball was kind of my savior. I was introduced to basketball by Coach Wally Shabatti, a very unique coach, as you might know, but you know, he had a passion for the game, and he made sure that we had passion for the game. And that's what got me into basketball, and basketball got me so many things. All right, some things that I could have never done: travel, hang out with wonderful people, be able to play college, play high school, meet great people. And what it did for me, it built my confidence up extremely high, because now I could play, I could hang out with kids because I didn't have the language. It was a lot different back then. And playing on the basketball team, I was the only one that didn't speak English at the beginning. So it was great that I had the great support from my teams, and it helped me pick up my language. So I owe a lot to basketball. It has done a lot for me. A lot of my friends are basketball people. A lot of the work I get done in my house is done by basketball people. Everywhere I go, I hang out with basketball people. So it's a great, great thing. And for all of you young people, remember that. You'll never forget who you played high school basketball with. All right? It's a wonderful thing. Now, how did I start coaching? When I was in grade 10, by the way, I started coaching. One of the coaches there asked me, he was coaching the varsity girls. He wanted me to help out. And I got the bug right there. The next year I had my own team over at Churchill High School, and believe it or not, the other day I was at a football function, and one of my players that played one of my first years was there, and we were trying to remember how many years have I actually coached. Well, it's 42 years that I've coached basketball. But the toughest coaching job I've had, and I've had it for 35 years, and I have one of my team members on the team here. I coach a senior men's team, and we started the team 36 years ago, and I've been fortunate enough to coach them. We're called the Red River Blues. We're playing the senior men's league, and coaching those guys over the years has really taught me that dealing with young people is so much easier and so much more fun, and they are so much more dependable. So I've been doing that for all of those years, besides being a water boy, manager, etc. After that coaching, I went on a number of different things. I started coaching, as Don mentioned, I won't go over everything. I started coaching at Red River, the women's team, and partially the men's team. Then my big thing happened because of basketball. I'll give you guys a good story. I don't want to give you too many. I was student teaching at Tech Rock, and the principal there realized that I was a basketball coach, a guy by the name of Clyde Perry. He comes up to me, none of you guys will probably know, except we have very few people here. He comes up to me, he says, Joe, do you want to work here? I said, of course I want to work here. Get a job coming out right out of university. Okay, you're hired, and you're going to be the basketball coach. But we can't hire you until August 15. I got to do all of these little inside work to get you in. I said, oh, that sounds great. August 15, I get a call. Joe, you're in. Come on in tomorrow, sign the contract. So that's what basketball got me. The other thing, I went up from there, I did coach a bit of the provincial teams. I had a fantastic time. The most probably dedicated athletes I've ever coached. Our practice was at Tech Rock, 7 o'clock. If I showed up at 6:30, I would be really late. Because every one of them was there early, working extremely hard. Some of the nicest, guys like Jeff Foreman and Norman Formel, people like that, they were dedicated. And we ended up being very successful. But those kids were amazing. I also I had the good fortune of working at UW, assistant coach with Bill and working with Ross. But as somebody said ahead of me here, the highlight was working with my kids. Started coaching them when they were grade 2, until they were grade 12. And not only did I get to coach them, I also coached all of their best friends that were in the neighborhood. It was a team, and our motto was very simply, once you're on the team, you're never off the team. All right? The only time, I'm never going to cut you. And we kept all of those kids, all those years, they got to grade 12. It was an amazing feat, and to be coaching with your kids and traveling, as he said, all over the place. It was awesome. My latest venture, as I said, was working at CMU, which I have incredible, wonderful kids this year. Probably the best family group I've ever had. Terrific. So I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed, as he mentioned, doing WIT. I've been involved. This will be our 40th anniversary of the WIT basketball tournament. I've been involved with it for 38 years. I've been the chairman or co-chair the last couple of years. I think for about 24 of those years, 25. That's a highlight, and I always, and I'll be talking about that in a second, I always want to see what can we do to make it better for the athletes. You know, many times we had a situation where they would say, well, we need to cancel the tournament. This is costing our school too much money, too much time. And I always had to fight, because I know how important that tournament is to kids. And you know, anywhere I travel across Canada, when I mentioned, you know, the coach that I was at WIT, in charge of WIT, they're all like, wow. They're all impressed about the tournament. And we always try to make it friendly for all the students, try to get them to enjoy the event. Being on the basketball board was amazing. We had some incredible people that really wanted to help out. Wonderful volunteers that put in a lot of time. And yes, we did a great job hiring Adam. All right? No, he is awesome. And that was good. And my staying with Canada basketball is a lot of fun as well, especially as Don was saying, we've got some really good opportunities there for Team Canada. We could be in the next Olympics. We could have an all-NBA team for Canada, which would be quite amazing. Our women's team has beaten the World Championship and the Olympics, so it looks very promising for Canada. There's a few things that have always guided me. And one thing that is treat others like you want to be treated. I learned that very young. Treat others like you want to be treated. If you follow that path, you're going to be successful in life. All right? The other thing that I always preach to kids is respect everyone. Respect everyone, and that means in any height, color, religion, respect everyone. And not just respect everyone, but respect the game. It's very important that you're representing the game, so you want to respect the game. The other thing that I'm really big on is giving back. Give back, just like Don was saying. Get back out there, coach, be a referee, just a volunteer, help out. It's very important to do those things if we want to keep the game growing the way it is right now. Right? So give something back. There's one thing I wanted to mention that has nothing to do with this, but I had to mention something about Lori May, and that was, we're gonna have good friends, and but a lot of great memories, but tough on me. And I just want to mention one great highlight. We went to see the Kinks. We were at a basketball clinic in Minneapolis, and him and I, my brother, went to see the Kinks. I mean, that's a little past most of your age. So, rock band, but we had an unbelievable time. We never sat down the whole time. It was an incredible concert. Ray Davies, now I can't think of the song. This one song, he played it for 30 minutes. They played the song, had the crowd just going crazy. So I really miss Laurie. The other thing that really drives me is watching my former athletes, players, be successful in life. Right? Whether they be coaching, like Scott Martin was one of my former players way back when, watching them be successful in coaching, but also being successful in life, hearing about their families, hearing about their new job. That's what makes coaching worthwhile for me, and that's how I feel. It's nice for me to give something back. In closing, I would like to thank a lot of people. First of all, definitely number one is my wife, Barb. I was pretty committed when it came to coaching. 7:30 practices every day, and we go usually at night, 8 till about probably 11. That was about every day. So it's nice to have a very supportive wife. I'd also like to thank all of the amazing athletes that I was able to work with. And over the years, there's been so many. I was fortunate we won a few championships, but it's all because we had such great athletes that were very dedicated, and they're very, very coachable. I would also like to thank all the coaches that we played against. I've always made it an effort that when you're coaching against someone during the game, you're trying to win the game. There's no friends when you're playing the game. But after the game, you can go hang out, and as I used to tell my kids, and enjoy a soda pop. All right, some of you younger people have to ask your parents what that means. All right, I also like to thank, I had so many great assistant coaches over the years that helped me. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I could have done. A lot of times I had other things to do, and they were there to help, and they were just tremendous people. I'd also like to thank a lot of the parents. A lot of the groups that I was involved with, I had unbelievable parents that were totally, totally supportive of whatever we did. And when I talk about the Winnipeg Internationals, those parents are still all very good friends. We traveled as a group, we traveled as a family. And I still have a picture of us when we're in Minneapolis when everybody's up in the stands. I always look at that picture. All right, and that's all I have to say. I thank you very much. I'm really, really honored to receive this award. Thank you very much.
So as you can see up on the screen, the photographs and other things that will happen over the course of today as well as tonight at the games will be all on the Basketball Manitoba website at basketballmanitoba.ca or at facebook.com/basketballmanitoba. I'd like to just say a couple of words here before, thank yous, sorry, and more words. For all the people that did a lot of work for today, first off to the awards committee that got together to talk about and hash out all these awards. Thank you to Coaching Manitoba that really stepped up this year, and Sport Manitoba, Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, St. Paul's High School, Home Run Sports, and Victoria Inn especially for the great meal that we had today. And of course, thanks very much to the Manitoba Sportscasters and Sport Writers Association and the Manitoba Association of Basketball Officials. So thanks to all those.